Ah, the classic witch, green skin, warts, and that ever so charming cackle. But have you ever wondered where this creepy depiction comes from? Why is it that when we think witch, we often picture an old, unsightly hag? Spoiler alert, it's got roots in something far more sinister than a Halloween costume. Let's dive in. Our journey begins in the dark and twisted world of the witch trials, particularly in Europe and colonial America. Thousands of people, mostly women, were accused of witchcraft between the 15th and 18th centuries. And guess who bore the brunt of these accusations? Older women, often widows, or those who didn't fit neatly into society's expectations. Silvia Federici, scholar, teacher, and feminist activist, says in her book, Witches, Witch Hunting and Women, that witch hunting in all its different forms is also a powerful means to destroy communal relations, injecting the suspicion that underneath the neighbour, the friend, the lover, hides another person, lusting for power, sex, wealth, or simply wanting to commit evil deeds. Feminist scholars like Silvia Federici argue that these witch hunts were less about hunting witches and more about controlling women. You see, an older woman living alone was a threat, a woman who wasn't under the thumb of a husband or had knowledge of herbs, midwifery, or just lived outside societal norms. That's all it took for the whispers to start and the accusations to fly, and the methods used to prove these women were witches, brutal to say the least. Torture was common, things like thumbscrews, the strappado, and even more nightmarish devices. Now imagine being an older woman subjected to this. The stress, malnutrition, and physical abuse could drastically alter someone's appearance, hollow eyes, sallow skin, hair loss. The very process of trying to extract a confession could turn any woman into a shadow of her former self. Here's another one from Witch Hunting and Women. Even the unspeakable tortures to which the accused women were subjected acquire a different meaning when we conceive them as a form of exorcism against their powers. These poor souls were then paraded as proof of their evil nature, reinforcing the stereotype that witches were ugly, haggard old women. But it didn't stop there. Sir Walter Scott wrote about witches in 1865 as generally old, blear-eyed, wrinkled dames, ugly and crippled, frequently papists, and sometimes atheists, of cross-grained tempers and cynical dispositions, often poisoners and generally monomaniacs. Fast forward a few centuries, and the image of the old, scary witch becomes cemented in popular culture. By the time the Wicked Witch of the West graced our screens in The Wizard of Oz, the transformation was complete. The green skin, a Hollywood invention. But the idea that witches were ugly, old hags, that had already been drilled into our collective consciousness for centuries. But this isn't just about witches. It ties into something much larger.
To decode the language of youth and visibly reduce signs of skin aging.
After 14 nights, wrinkles start to be less visible,
which supports skin's youthful appearance by addressing the first stage of skin aging.
Usa las cremas que te doy, porque mira.
It takes only 1 week to reveal younger-looking skin.
Visibly reduces the look of fine lines in 5 minutes and helps reduce the look of deeper wrinkles over time.
Let's talk about modern-day beauty standards. The hag image has seeped into our society in a way that makes women fear aging. The message is clear: youth equals beauty, and aging, well, that's something to be fought at every turn. The patriarchy strikes again. If women age, they lose their value, just like those poor accused witches of the past. Even the word nightmare is a slight on older women. According to The Mysteries and Secrets of Magic by C.J.S. Thompson, the word Nafma comes from mare, an old woman, an incubus or spirit that appears to press upon the breast and impede the action of the lungs. Feminist thinkers like Naomi Wolf have pointed out how the beauty industry profits off this fear of aging. Wrinkles? Hide them. Grey hair? Dye it. Society says, stay young, stay beautiful, or risk becoming invisible, or worse, a hag. Beauty provokes harassment, the law says, but it looks through men's eyes when deciding what provokes it. But here's the twist. What if we reject that narrative? In many cultures, elder women are respected, revered even, for their wisdom and experience. The so-called hag is really just a powerful woman who refuses to conform to the oppressive standards placed upon her. And that's what makes her dangerous. So the next time someone tries to scare you with the image of a witch, remember, there's nothing scarier to the patriarchy than a woman who refuses to be controlled. Embrace your inner hag, because there's magic in that too. So I shall leave you with this poem called Halloween Witch by Angel from Petals and Thorns Poetry by Angel. Each year they parade her about, the traditional Halloween witch. Misshapen green face, stringy scraps of hair, a toothless mouth beneath her deformed nose, gnarled, knobby fingers twisted into a claw protracting from a bent and twisted torso that lurches about on wobbly legs. Most think this abject image to be the creation of a prejudiced mind, or merely a Halloween caricature. I disagree. I believe this to be how witches were really seen. Consider that most witches were women, were abducted in the night, and smuggled into dungeons or prisons under the secrecy of darkness to be presented by light of day as a confessed witch. Few, if any, saw a frightened, normal-looking woman being dragged into a secret room filled with instruments of torture, to be questioned until she confessed to anything suggested to her, and to give names or whatever would stop the questions. Crowds saw the aberration denounced to the world as a self-proclaimed witch. As the witch was paraded through town en route to be burned, hanged, drowned, stoned, or disposed of in various other forms of Christian love, all created to free and save her soul from her depraved body. The jeering crowds viewed the results of hours of torture. The face bruised and broken by countless blows bore a hue of sickly green. The once warm and loving smile gone replaced by a grimace of broken teeth and torn gums that leers beneath a battered, disfigured nose. The dishevelled hair conceals bleeding gaps of torn scalp from whence cruel hands had torn away the lovely tresses. Broken, twisted hands clutched the wagon for support, fractured fingers with nails torn away locked like groping claws to steady her broken body. All semblance of humanity gone, this was truly a demon, a bride of Satan, a witch. I revere this Halloween crone and hold her sacred above all. I honour her courage and listen to her warnings of the dark side of man. Each year I shed tears of respect when the mundane exhibit their symbol of Christian love.